Oh, and we are live, aka Patters. Long day's journey into night. It has been a little bit of HE double hockey sticks just to get here. But let's just hang out. It's Friday. We have some progress to make on our Avenger sketchbook. I'm hoping to have this done very soon. It's a Avengers rule, you know, collegiate school ruled. I forget like what's this one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like 28th ruled notebook. This came out of a big Avengers activity kit, and I'm just using all the materials from the activity kit and some of the cheapest markers money can buy to bring you uh, endless and wonderful Avengers portrait headshots. Some of these we're going to go back and forth on, but the goal is just to make our way through the list. Now, this all of the everyone featured is inspired by this George Perez poster right here, and it was for sorry, don't mind my other pictures, but at the time he had drawn all the active members of the Avengers. I kind of want to just go back to this era because this era was hashtag lit. This is everything leading into Avengers Volume 3, which arguably is their greatest run. So, guys, here we go. We are here. We're drawing Giant Man. And I was like 50-50 because he's all red. You know, like this dude is just all red. So we don't have, you know, like we can give him his antlers. You know, like that's his one distinguishing characteristic. But essentially he's just like a bald head. Now I made him a little bit more thick than normal. But I don't know, like I just had to bring in like a different element. So and then we're gonna jump on Monica Rambeau, the one and only true Captain Marvel. Even though I love both versions of Captain Marvel. I don't know if I really do we classify Carol Danvers as a Avenger? I mean, technically we have to, yeah, because she's been in the game enough. But I don't know. Yeah, Omer, I was all over your TikTok today. Keep it up, dude. I like, yeah, like your style. Really quick, do I have it here? Let me see, because I had an idea of what to show you when it comes to your style, and I don't want to spoil it by trying to describe the art style. But I think, yeah, I think you got some ingredients in the kitchen there for sure. Well, we'll do that another time. I'll have some of that reference together another time. I'm perpetually going back and forth with organizing some of my comics because I have to do another round of content recording, and yeah, you tear everything away apart, and then you build a reading pile, you build a record pile, and then it's just kind of you somewhat clean up, you get things in order, and then you tear it all apart again. But dude, great to see you. Thanks for popping in, TGIF. Though I'm hoping you had a good work week. My work week was absolutely insane. Somewhat back-to-back weeks of just working on a lot of stuff. Things are cooking. What can I say? But they're cooking good. Cooking busy, I'll say. Things are just monumentally busy for me right now. And I don't know. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. We're still working on the Avengers, as you know. Cheers to you, buddy. Yeah, for no, dude. No, thanks for I don't know, just being available. You know, like being here. I'm anticipating Here we go. I'm anticipating next week that I will be streaming a lot more. I'm going to maybe be back to my one. I had I think I had two back-to-back weeks where I did 5 sessions, which is good. I try and do a whole lot more, but with the election, Philly, I don't know. Like Philly just seems like it's about to burn. I walked out of my building today, and yeah, like I'm right there on Broad Street. I am not even. Geez, I'm a. If you're a good runner, uh, I'm maybe like a 5 minute run to City Hall, and that's kind of where you see a concentration of the political signs and all that stuff, right? But when I left to get into the office earlier today, I don't know who did it, but all the Kamala signs, all of them were just torn apart, like all over the street, all over the sidewalks. So this is what I mean about Philly looking like it's ready to burn. And I already told my team I'm not going to. I mean, I'm going to be available, but I am not going to be mobile on any level. Just as of being able to pop in and see people, and I give a little bit of that extra care to some of our clients because like you just want to make sure people are taken care of, and if I'm in the city and they're in the city, I just make it make it a thing. You go by and see them, say hello, uh, see what's happening in this office type stuff, and you pick up info too. By the way, it's good to have your ear to the grindstone. Right, I think I used that right. And then I popped into Five Below earlier, and I have to get back there like ASAP. Five Below has gray tone marker packs that look awesome, and I kind of want to get as many of them as I can because I kind of got an idea. But I will be doing, if I can get around to it, somewhat of a drawing announcement video if I can get around to it. But I blew one of my Halloween episodes. I was going to do a Clive Barker Razorline episode. If you guys are not familiar with his Marvel Comics imprint, where, believe it or not, the Wachowskis, the Matrix guys, were involved. And I had the whole video mapped out for that. Actually, read a bunch of stuff, and it was going to, like not be totally comprehensive. It was kind of more or less designed to be a introduction. And guess what? Lost. I cannot find the comic, so that's where the Clown Shock one came from. And the Clown Shock was just not 100%. From my view, it was too rushed, and I'm not quite happy with that one. But I don't know, anything to bring attention to some of these forgotten '90s image, like indie books, like real indie books. And people kind of push back on that sometimes. They're like, "What do you mean, real indie? Like, isn't it?" No, it's like, I mean, like books that kind of had to sell. Like if issue one didn't sell, there was no issue two. That's independent in my eyes. But it's just been a downhill, like go 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 go. Like this past week, it's almost like anything you see come out of me is either like pre-recorded or recorded very close to release. And a lot of times, if I'm not in a recording rhythm, that's just like the worst thing on earth. I bought more refills today for these finally. I'm looking for my again forever looking for my skin tone, and this is going to be orange. Never find my skin tone. Why? Uh, yeah, and then my local art supply store. There it is. My local art supply store is. I guess they're not carrying Prismacolors anymore. So, and I got to talk to the one guy that works there about that. If it's just, are they moving the section? Because they redid their whole marker section, and that was just like, it's just like another thing. So Prismacolor, I know they were making the shift, but they are sets only. Like the individuals for Prismas are, a thing of the past. All right. Not too crazy about this. What we got? What are we saying over here, Omar? Yeah, got a bunch of books in this week. I like that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we were talking about that last time. Did you get into any of the stories? Because I think there's another Joker's Greatest Hits. I think that might have a Alex Ross cover. You saw I got to 75 years of Joker, and I kind of want to put this thing together where how rare like some of these good stories are, like just based on Joker's appearances. Yeah, how many pages is that Rocketeer, by the way? Like, is that worth it? I know it's the complete work, but I'm not even sure how much Rocketeer work Dave Stevens even did. Like where sometimes it's just like, oh, okay, like here's a complete Shakespeare's, and yeah, it's a 35-minute reader. That's a bad example, but sometimes the complete works are. I don't want to say they're like disingenuous, but there's a lot of times where I bought similar things, and there just wasn't enough there to kind of justify what the pricing was. But I guess Dave Stevens with that documentary. I don't know if you saw that documentary. Uh, he's somewhat got a resurgence because of that documentary. And to me, that's also weird because I watched that Dave Stevens documentary, and then I see all these speculators inflating Dave Stevens covers for whatever reason, and prices spiking. So now you're just like totally priced out of owning your own Dave Stevens anything. And at the whole time, I'm just like, number one, like when do we have to get reminded about Dave Stevens? I think that's a little bit, that's a bit goofy. And then number two is, is a documentary really spiking this Dave Stevens interest? And that's where the Comic Con stuff. I remember there was just like these run of episodes, and I was kind of trying to work in a commentary on what they were saying, but I think it's hilarious. Anyone that buys like an independent Dave Stevens cover that literally was $1 book not long ago, and you're kind of spending hundreds now, or you're spending hundreds to get something graded, hoping to get more money from the grade. I don't know, dude. Like, it's just that's the worst part of collecting. Yeah, I had 2 streams scheduled this week. just it was so painful. Like I could not, because like part of it too was my almost like my internal schedule, like my circadian clock, right? It was just thrown out of whack because I had a couple early mornings, and those early sometimes the early mornings just wreak. They wreak havoc on what my like what my flow state is, and it doesn't mean I can't do things early in the morning. It's just me like kind of wanting to do everything. If that makes any sense. There we go. We're getting there. Getting ready for this guy. Yeah, the Deadly Duo. I need that deluxe edition. Deadly Duo. Yeah, it's everything he's done. So like like that's cool. Is it oversized? Because like sometimes the editions are like this instead of. But I think a lot of Dave Stevens' work is almost like magazine, even if it's reduced. It's like magazine size. Yeah, they are, dude. Like, yeah, that documentary. It's not the documentary because anyone anyone that's a Me Tooer, anyone in the Me Too thing, in the Me Too sphere, would watch that documentary and destroy him. I'll tell you that. But the speculators, I guess like maybe it's like speculators over comic book journalism. But the speculators won from getting that from the documentary. All right. Time to draw Hank over here. Let's draw Hank. I've been kind of experimenting with my approach on chins with all of these as well. Just kind of like trying to get a little bit more roundness, like kind of just making it seem a little bit more less like a chin, I'll say. Because sometimes like you want to look at your forms separate from what they are. Like if you're drawing this and you're like, oh, it needs to look like a chin, and you're like saying no, like internally, if you're like, oh, a chin looks like this, like a chin kind of looks like like a grape or like a lemon. Uh, Let me kind of highlight that lemon. I think when you disassociate, you get better results. You gotta separate the subject sometimes and just try and draw the forms. It's almost like the drawing version of if you're doing public speaking and you imagine everyone as naked so you can get through the speech or the performance. And can we say is Hank like the most almost like nuanced character, the most nuanced character of all the Avengers, like in their entire history? And then like you kind of go into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you're just like, wow, like they wasted that character, like the possibilities they wasted, right? Like you kind of sacrificed this dude's history for Paul Rudd. Isn't that depressing? Like, who's got more of the true comic book history, Hank or Scott Lang? You have to say Hank. Like, I don't even think that's a close comparison. I kind of like how this one is kind of blurry, I'll say. Like, I'm trying to think of how are we going to describe this. But again, too, like there's such a cool simplicity to how some of these characters look, as opposed to now, where everything's like sectional and there's like weird effects. Like comic book latex just doesn't exist anymore, which is goofy, right? Because like, isn't that like the comic book thing? Like, oh, how does the Dark Knight jump from building to building with in cold weather wearing latex? Now it's just he's armored and he's got a suit that was developed by military guys. I do feel like there's a little bit of that, like innocence, kind of gone with these books and characters. Lux, what is up? Yeah, it's oversized. Okay, 12 by 8. Yeah. Or 12 by 9, roughly. Lux, what's up, dude? Did any of you guys, were you guys following the 31 Days of Dread? I love that the podcast stuff rolls into the YouTube um, feed now. I just watched the last night. Me and the girl watched The Substance, and that was another one you heard a lot about, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I think this movie kind of that really literally kind of like loses the plot a certain by the time we kind of get towards the finale. It really had next level potential though. Yeah, I know you are, Lux. Thank you so much, dude. I may have to, guys. I may have to run real quick and grab my refills for these, but we will preview. Well, you know what? Like, let me. Do I have? I really need my like some of my shades down when it comes to skin tones. I need them for like quick pull. Because where is my like second? Yeah, see, like that's almost the same color. See, those are PM12s. You can kind of chart. That's this one's good. You can kind of chart some of the numbering. There we go. I do like it when things are kinetic. Yeah, I gotta work on Human Torch. I still have to work on She-Hulk. This was like the last big stream we did. We did the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I think we're definitely getting there. Like characters like Captain Marvel here, where I know I get it. Like technically, there's a live action Monica Rambeau, but this is where the movies will never beat the comics. Dude, Lux, thank you, dude. Lux, Flatter, thank you so much. To preview, what was it? What did I record today? I recorded. Oh, um, Woman of the Hour on Netflix. Lux. If you, if you want to kind of jump ahead, Woman of the Hour. We'll be doing. We're extending the 31 Days of Dread team, aka Pad, because we're about 11 or 12 movies over the 31 Days of Dread, but we have Winnie the Blue, Blood Honey 2, Mickey Mouse Trap. Um, we got two of them that are going to segue into other holidays like Thanksgiving, the mean one. So we just got a lot happening, and it's oddity, slow, stop motion, Mad God. I'm forgetting a couple here and there, but we there's a slew. There's Final Girl, Lux. If you're familiar with Final Girl, Final Girls, I think that one blew me away, and I think that's from 2009. Yeah, thank you, Omer. It's just yeah. Yeah, dude. Like, the Joker thing is, right? Isn't it's just I don't understand this moral high horse now that we get from reviewers. Okay, guys, I have to go get the refills for these real quick. I'm gonna put this on mute just in and Badoosh. There we are. bought 4, and I'm kind of thinking I should have bought like 10 of them. I should have just spent the money. But sometimes it's you hit the art supply store to get you over the hump until you order from Amazon. But this time I had nothing coming in from Amazon, so I screwed myself. Here we go. Give me 1 second here. Bingo. But this is the I still think this, because this Captain Marvel is so distant from the one that died off, and the first Marvel graphic novel and all that was based on. I just feel like there's something about uh this character. Like I just think she's cool. I think there's she had like an attitude. You kind of believed she could be a leader. Uh, she did, right. She did kind of face off with Thanos herself, which is again like somewhat of a character name legacy. There's just a lot about her that people forget just as a character, and I don't know, like when the movies and stuff were hitting, and you kind of see that they're like using Carol Danvers, and they're not kind of doing this one or the other version. I mean, could you imagine if they actually did the real Captain Marvel between Infinity War and Endgame, and it really ended with Captain Marvel defeating Thanos, reversing the snap, but then getting cancer? Which they kind of, right, they had the effects of the energy of the Infinity Gauntlets baked into the dough. So, like, you kind of saw that was on their radar. And then WandaVision happens. And let's just say, like, we're going to find a way to put Monica Rambeau there. So, Monica Rambeau shows up in WandaVision. And then she becomes the new Captain Marvel. Right? And then it's like, you know where that's going. And that's kind of, I think that's a lot of like these missed opportunities with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where when it was good and when they were rocking and rolling, they were pretty much like following the beats of some of these comics, some of the stories. Like even like the conflict in Civil War. Like Civil War has really nothing to do with the comic, but like the beats are there, kind of. Like the clip notes are there. We're already running low. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. We kind of. I have to do the black costume, black and white costume, Spider Girl. I have to. I feel like I'm going to run out of space. So where is Monica on this? I still have to like. I pretty much set out to do Stingray. He was like the first one I wanted to jump on for him. But I said I can't. Like I have to. like, you know, like I can't just give myself what I want sometimes. Like, let me do some work and kind of earn drawings thing, right? I'm just not having any luck finding Monica in this poster. What the hell? Tell me she's not like in the lineup at the time of this poster. There's no way. Wow. And there's still a couple of characters I'm not 100% on. Wow, shocking. I don't think she is. I blundered. Wow, Monica Rambeau is not. Talk about that. Could you imagine being like a executive somewhere at Marvel or Disney, and you guys are like, "Hey, we're doing this movie," and you're like with like a vintage poster framed in his office, and someone's like, "Oh, where's Monica on this?" You have to be like, "Well, I guess, yeah, well, here we go. This was a one shot, but we will, we'll just go off of that. How crazy is that? Madness. That we do not have Monica Rainbow on that poster. And honestly speaking, too, I even like mess up her hairstyle. I kind of want to give her black lipstick though. I love it. Yeah, I love black lipstick. I think it looks so good on some girls. All right, we need. I'm trying to just get some of my browns in order here. Let's see here. That is almost. That's crazy how that just blends right in. Maybe right here. Perfect. All right. Yeah, it just pisses me off that it's almost like just out of accuracy. It's just like, oh my god, like how did I not know that? You know, sometimes like you just sit down though and you just work. You know, you work from memory. And all of this too is my path of. Oh, thanks, Omar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, and I'm trying to. I was kind of like in the sweet spot of do I jump on here or do I go to the gym? And I still haven't worked out. I thought this year I was going to have a little bit more of a like real rhythm with that of just being able to decide what to do first. And I'm still like a complete. I'm still a complete. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still a complete mess when it comes to what to do first. All right, let's get into. I need a bigger black marker, and I only see my big one. Where's my normal looking one? Right here. Bingo. I think the next one is Namor, but I have the classic Namor. The one on the poster, I believe, is the Jay Lee one. But it was still considered, even at the time, because Alan Moore, not Alan Moore, John Byrne scripted those and was plotting those. It's still kind of, a lot of people will say the Jay Lee Namor, but it's still the John Byrne Namor. Like, just to be perfectly fair on the pedigree of that design. All right. So far for this session, we've done giant. I mean, he looks like a giant, right? Because his neck's so freaking big. Previously, I did these two off stream. I did these real quick the other day too. And then we have Prince Namor up. And then we had Vision queued up finally up. And then Ant Man with the Ant Boy, Ant with the headgear. Oh, Mockingbird. Geez, I went pretty far. Cool. I kind yeah. Let me just use green. I just want a different color background for once. I'm kind of do some quick highlights. I'm kind of sick of doing contrast here. I just want to kind of be a little bit random. And the funny thing is that I guess like green and algae, right? Like green's a color definitely associated with the ocean. I know some people might disagree with that. But here we do whatever the AKA Pad Army wants to do, right, guys? Yeah, it's you know what? Here it is. I don't know if it's a mixed bag. I can kind of see what you're looking at, Omar, but I do feel like see sometimes you have to find a guiding light. Like you have to find someone that draws like you that you can immediately emulate, and that means the craftsmanship side, meaning the materials, and the artistry side, meaning like style, interpretation, all that. I always like my stuff's pretty clear. You know, my guys were always when it comes to comics, the image guys. There's the image guys and their inspirations. So it was George Perez and John Byrne. Uh, I grew up kind of with this like resurgence of Barry Windsor Smith. So that's my vernacular. And then when it comes to the mechanics of it, kind of the study side, as seen on my channel, it's Bern Hogarth. So this is where a lot of my measurements and the way how I can kind of draw really quick come from. I abuse the hell out of these books. I've been buying them and rebuying them for quite some time. But I think sometimes I, I view a little bit of my training, like my self training, as like as a study. And I know a lot of people didn't go through that, but they have natural ability, or they have ability that they can kind of train and work and improve on. But it helps if you can kind of like have a style or you have a direction and you can kind of like point to a North Star and say, like I'm going in this direction. Dude, like I'm one of the guys I work with, his son was just, he brought his son to work for like, for like a good week. And he's also from out of town, so it was kind of like part vacation for the kid. But yeah, he's not a spring chicken. Like this is like a fully grown adult, and he's really big into programming. Essentially, like he's somewhat a little bit of a tech head himself, and like when you talk to people learning things, I always ask like, what are you like reverse engineering? What projects are you looking at? Like are you giving yourself anything to recreate? And that's just like a really good way to gauge if they're really trying to actively learn and grow. Just when it comes as like a skill set. And sometimes here's a wild thing, dude. Sometimes I'm not saying this kid did it, but sometimes you don't get a good response. You kind of get these responses where people hope to learn it and they hope to figure it out. And that's where you're like, it's going to take more effort than what you're letting me letting on here. It's going to take a hell of a lot more effort. But yeah, I'll get stuff together for. I'm thinking, geez, like I don't know if I have even stuff from one of the guys. Now that I'm thinking, but I thought he was on my list for a video. Maybe it doesn't matter. But I think it's good, and I think it's also good when, not saying I'm anybody, but when someone else like sees your work and they're like, "Hey, you're kind of like this guy." Uh, never take offense at that, because again, too, like that's a little bit of your North Star. That's a little bit of where you can end up, where you can be. Because it gets confusing because you're trying to produce something. It's stressful because like you really have to be perfect, right? Like you cannot make a mistake when you're drawing because you ruin the whole piece. So there's a lot of things happening, but along the way, it's like you're still learning. And with everything else, it's like you kind of mess up as you learn, but not when you draw. And the wild thing is like you get so self-conscious. You think it needs to be perfect. You don't show it to a lot of people. You don't get the right feedback. You show it to family members who always say they love it. That's always a lie. Never believe family members. Unless your family member is a editor for DC Comics or Marvel Comics. Dude, I like him with this blue though, right? Doesn't he look cool with the blue? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let the image guys inspire you. There's nothing wrong with that. Dude, they still inspire me to this day. It's just I just happen to be one of the people that I look at their stuff sometimes and my eyebrow goes up. And for some reason, that just makes me a hater. instead of a commentator. I think I did another. Oh, Omar, let me ask you, Omar, let me let me throw a real question at you. Hawk and Dove from DC Comics. What's your take on those characters? Just without even looking them up. If you don't even know who they are, say it. But just what's your quick take on that? Yeah, just paint it over with the white paint. Yes. Yes. That's fair, dude. That's fair. Nah, dude. I've been making mistakes the entire time I've been talking to you. For this stream, it's like you kind of. I think your muscle memory gets to a point where you can, like, almost like correct mistakes as you go along. Hawk and Dove. What's our hot take? I was kind of looking at some of Dane Panosian's stuff, and I kind of realized like how he contours, and I was saying like, you know what, I should kind of emulate some of that for these. And from his perspective, it's like he's got like a golden style right now because it is a quick style. It's a quick style that people love reposting, so it's kind of like always viral. And he's one of the people too. When the AI stuff dropped, he kind of was like, hey, like maybe I got to be a little bit better. Maybe I just have to look at things a little bit differently and be just a better overall. And like he's turning out to be correct with that assessment. So by contour, I mean like the actual strokes I'm doing. Like I'm using strokes to round the chin and round the cheeks. Namor really is these Marvel's Captain Marvel, like, or Shazam. Like he is such a historic character that kind of predates the universes, right? Because he kind of, right, like he's a little bit of this like acquisition along the way, same as Shazam or at the time Captain Marvel. And I would love the team up of just those two, of Namor and Captain Marvel. I think that would be lit. That would be awesome. The comic book historian needs that. I like a little bit of the chaos of this. Here we go. That's the Submariner, right? This is the Submariner that should have been in the movie, right? Do I have to say it? This should have been the Monica Rambeau we got in the movie. This should have been a Hank Pym we got in the movie. And this should have been the Namor we got in the movie. All right, I think I'm going to sign out. Let's see. Yeah, David Mack they crowdfunded a art book. I think it was like a Marvel Cinematic Universe art book because he did the Winter Soldier, right? Did he do Winter Soldier? The end credits or opening credits for that? Yeah, the first 3 issues of Rob Liefeld. Yeah, I just wanted to see what your take was because I have a Rob Liefeld, like another Rob Liefeld opinion coming up, and it's kind of around Hawk and Dove. Yeah, he was, but he was also learning, right? You kind of give that a pass, right? Like, hey, guys, Barry Windsor Smith, John Buscema ripoff originally, Stranko, Jack Kirby, these are things that are like 1-to-1 comparisons. Yeah, I know, hasn't he? He. I'll show you one thing, Omar. He did the cover for this. Where is it? Is this it? Yeah. And this is cheap. You can get this for it's Marvel year by year, and this is his cover. And I think I tweeted it to him. I think he actually like he responded. This Loki here is one of the best Lokis I've ever seen because he just looks so twisted. But yeah, this is Panosian right here, the Destroyer. Comical trivia there. Who created that? We got Sylvie right here. So yeah, I think I'm going to we're going to sign out. I'm probably going to have to work on some of these before. I'm going to try and come back later. I have to work out, but we will continue this activity book, and we're getting there. So I guess like maybe we have like that much left. So I have to paint it out. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, yeah, he did the credits for Winter Soldier. Yeah, yeah, it is a great cover. Omer, thanks for hanging out, buddy. I will see you soon.